everyone, I'm Rachel. I'm a Kubrick consultant, like Farah said, and I work at the Financial Times as a data engineer. I didn't realise that I was meant to title my presentation, so I've self-titled it. But I'm just going to skip past that. So I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about how I got into data, then I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing at the Financial Times, and then finally I'm going to share with you some advice that I wish I had when I was applying for data roles. So I don't know how many of you aren't in data, but feel free to take what you want from that. Ooh.
I think you can just press next, yeah.
Does that work? Yeah, okay, cool. So my data journey. So I didn't know that I wanted to be in data. It wasn't a career path that I had mapped out, especially not when I was in university. I chose maths as the subject that I wanted to study because it was my favourite subject, and that is because I really enjoyed handling complex problems and working out different methods to solve the problem in the best way, in the cleverest way. I was a bit of a weird child. But yeah, so going forward, I let this mantra of doing what I enjoyed and what I loved take me through, chose all my modules based on that and didn't really give careers a second thought. I remember I went to one careers fair and the whole time I was at university. It was for maths graduates, and it was full to the brim with financial services firms and actuarial services firms, and I walked in and I was like, this just isn't for me. I don't want to be this. I don't want to do this. Walked out with a few free pens and nothing much else. And so when it came to graduating, as you can probably all imagine, it was complete panic stations for me. I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. I soon realised that there's no such thing as a perfect job, so if any of you are looking for that, stop now. But I did think about the things that I most enjoyed, because I knew that that is what would keep me in a job and what would mean that I would be good at my job. So there was two things that I pulled out. The first thing is I had done three years of maths, which meant that I felt very, very competent in solving problems analytically and using logic to work out and derive things from data. And the second thing is actually a non-mathematics module that I took. So the assignment for it was looking at a self-study, self-guided report where I had to generate my own study question and then work out how best to answer this question. And from my background in maths, I thought, give me some data, I can do something with it. So I went and found a big old data set, and that was really fun and really challenging. But where I felt I most excelled and what I most enjoyed was actually then deciding on the statistics and the data visualizations that would best tell my story to people that hadn't spent months studying the data, that were going to mark my work, and I wanted a good mark out of it, and trying to convey a message to non-experts I really, really enjoyed. So this is when I looked at data analytics roles. And for anyone that is thinking about applying for jobs in data and analysis, I think coming out of uni a lot of the time, when I was looking at roles, I didn't feel like I had any of the skills they were asking for. I didn't have the commercial experience, and silly as it may sound, I would only apply for jobs that I thought I could get, which turned out to be the jobs that I wasn't particularly interested in. The role I ended up getting, in fact, the only reason that I applied for it is because a man in my life, my father, had a look at the application. He went straight to the salary and laughed and said, no one is going to be able to do all of that for a graduate salary, so go and apply. And I applied, I got the job, I learned everything on that job description within about 3 months. And then at this time, in my data analysis role for a marketing analytics firm, this is when I started to wake up to the wider data landscape, and really in terms of this increasingly automated and augmented world that we're hearing is coming. And I was really worried about the role that I was performing, because I thought a lot of my day-to-day tasks could easily be automated and really should have been automated. They were boring as hell. And also we had started to feel a bit of the first-hand effect of this more available and more intelligent drag and drop analytics software. So I was doing a bespoke analytics for big companies as a consultant, and they had got software that allowed non-experts, non-analysts to be able to derive some meaning from their data, and we had started to lose some clients. So I panicked. I thought, I'm going to get out of this, and Kubrick was my knight in shining armour. I'm not going to talk about Kubrick here. If you want to grab me afterwards, go for it. But I thought I'll talk about something different, which is my role now. So I am a data engineer in the Financial Times with the data platforms team. I've been there for about 6 months. The data platforms team essentially is involved in preparing and providing data to the wider organisation. So we look at getting data and sourcing it, all the way through all the processing and the ETL, extract, transform, load, and then into endpoints that people can use, like APIs or storing it in a data warehouse. What I've mostly been involved in is looking at I've just realised I haven't skipped pages, but that's okay. So what I've mostly been involved in is projects actually using the data, which has been great for me because it means that I've been able to understand the data that the Financial Times holds. And also I've got to have so much freedom in what I do. And the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is to promote what our team can do for the wider business and also the data we've got hold of. So I'm going to show you, yes.
I was going to ask a bit more detail as to exactly when you say you're doing data engineering work on Financial Times data, exactly what?
So I'm going to show you 2 of the projects that I've worked on, and then maybe I can talk to you a bit about the actual day-to-day functions I do as well. But hopefully this will give you a bit of an idea.
Sorry.
That's okay. So in my first month, I created Trendy, which is a Slack bot, which uses data from a real-time, not only SQL database, and tells the user what the current top trending articles are on the FT. This is a bit how it works. And yeah, so we obviously have data about everything online, and our mass readership is online as well.
What language did you use for this?
This was Python. And the NoSQL database was DynamoDB. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Was that Python?
No, Python. And then March 1 million, this is a dashboard that I helped create, which basically takes all the information about the number of subscribers that we have in data. All the data about the number of subscribers we have, and then anyone in the company can see real-time information about this. And the information is from lots of different areas and lots of different pipelines all joined together, because obviously we've got print and we've also got online. And then also I'm working on automating a data dictionary at the moment, which has been a massive eye-opener for me. So we've got the information in systems tables in Redshift, which is where we hold our data. So trying to get this out and holding this information and then putting it into the endpoint, which at the moment is a Google Sheets, and creating an automated process. This does it without anything being done by me on a day-to-day basis. I'm almost finished. It's been a big project. I've completely managed it myself, so I'm very proud of it. To talk a bit about, I don't want to give you an unrealistic view. My day-to-day operations work involves making sure that data's got to where it's meant to get to on time, making sure that a level of quality has been adhered to, sorting out operations issues, looking at data logs. GDPR has been absolutely massive for us, and it's all about data governance and how our data and how our process enables things like right to delete and for people to be able to make SAR requests, so finding out all the information that they've got, making sure that our data framework enables that. When I first joined, I really did struggle because there's loads of different acronyms, there's so many different technologies to learn and to understand, and honestly, I still don't understand. I make mental notes now, and then when no one's looking, I'll go and Google and find out what Splunk means and Flink is and all these words. Honestly, they're real technologies. And also, just to touch on something, because this is a diversity event, I'm one of 3 women in a team of 20, and trying to kind of assert my role and still be a female and try and work at that is really difficult, especially coming in as an amateur in a very experienced team. Kudos to the FT because they've set me up on a blind data date with a woman in a very similar situation to me. She'd been there for a year, and basically she's my support, and if ever I need to ask anyone something, or if I'm like, oh God, I'm panicking a bit, I'll go and ask her, and usually her response is, calm down, it's fine, you'll be all right. And I can say in the last 2 months, so I've been there 6 months, so yeah, my last 2 to 3 months, I've really settled down. I've calmed down, I've got comfortable, feeling uncomfortable with not knowing what the hell I'm doing most of the time. And also, yeah, just something that I have to learn every time I'm in a new job is that I'm not inferior because I'm asking questions. People welcome questions, so yeah. So your data journey, where you can go from there. I've got four tips for anyone trying to get into data, but I think they can be applied to many roles. The first is to make sure that you're finding a role that fits you rather than trying too closely to fit a role. So I'm talking about honouring your strengths, honouring your interests, and really not doing a justice to yourself, because you deserve to get a job that you enjoy. And in data, if you're here, I'm guessing it means you're all interested in it. There's so many different opportunities for you. We've all got very distinct roles that are going to speak to you today. There's overlap, of course, but go and find out what it is that you want to do. And then industry-wise, pretty much every company now has a data function, so you're spoilt for choice, really. So I'd really recommend to think about the role you want to go into. And yeah, the next point is to get interested in data and technology. Again, you're here after work, so I'm guessing you are somewhat interested. But go to more meetups, listen to podcasts. What I really recommend is subjects outside of technology and topics that you like outside of technology. Go and find out how technology is disrupting them. I'm really interested in social change and development, and I recently found out about how blockchain technology is helping alleviate some of the issues that refugees face when they leave war-torn countries and come here, and it's amazing. And I think it will give you something to talk about in interviews, but also like a bigger understanding and appreciation for what's going on. The third point is if you're not coding, start now, don't wait. There's so many free topics and so many free resources online that you can go and sign up for, so just give it a go. Doesn't matter what language you choose, go and try it, and if you enjoy it, then it's probably going to be somewhat part of your job if you get into data. So it's really good to go and see whether you want to do it outside of your work as well. And then the final point, which is the most important, which is something I'm still working at, I'm sure I will be working at forever, is to back yourself. Don't be your own obstacle. Don't think that you can't do it. You're going to have so many other things that you aren't going to be able to control. But you, standing up, taking your place at the table, sitting on the seat at the boardroom or whatever Sheryl Sandberg says, do it. Don't be your biggest holdback. Just go for it. Yeah, so thanks for listening. Just to say, it seems to be all women here. We need you, so if you're at all interested, then give it a go to a few interviews, see if you're interested, see if the interest holds. There's so much opportunity for you now. Companies have woken up to the fact that diverse data teams are so important, so come and join me, please. Thanks.